Hello and welcome to Enter the Dragon Tamers Den, a Pokemon Go PvP podcast and the official podcast of the Battle Frontier. I am TacoDog8.
And I'm JetForceGemini.
And I can't speak on a Monday night. And if you're new around here, welcome. Like I mentioned before, we are a Pokemon Go PvP podcast that primarily focuses on the grassroots team-based PvP known as the Battle Frontier. And if you're not new around here, well, the only thing I really have to say is if you're part of the few people that thought we did 7 weeks instead of 5 weeks, hello, hi, that's me. We're jumping all the way up to the salsa bar in the beginning because I don't know how I got 7, but I said that number and it's just been in the back of my head, and I'm pretty sure the other episodes I mentioned there'd be 7 weeks instead of 5, but you know,
it is what it is. especially since this is the last week of normalcy.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. But before
we get to test out the 50-second switch timer next week.
I'm gonna put myself in the lineup next week. I'm kicking someone off the lineup. I'm sorry, but I need to
for science.
Yes,
nice.
However, before we get started, Jet, how was your week?
It was pretty good, and have to shout out Donut just immediately for benching me when I should have just benched myself. Because my sister came into town and it was my girlfriend's birthday over the weekend, so I was like, what was I like? Where was my brain? I should have known better, but no, it was fun. It was all good stuff, and I was glad to just be in a supporting role and not have to figure out, especially since I know this is true for both of our teams, but just that we had out of region competition this week was a little extra trickiness.
Yeah, I'm just glad to finally put last week behind me. It was eventful, to say the least.
Yeah, well, and that is always a thing that seems to happen when you have two teams that are out of region. It's just way higher likelihood that there's something weird's going to happen. It happened to our team. It happened to you, I think, upwards of 5 or more times. So it seems like the culture or the communication style just really seems to differ between regions, even as much as Battle Frontier itself has gone out of its way to try to streamline that process and get everyone on the same page. There's just kind of a culture gap, it feels like.
It is a little difficult. However, I give all the praise to the staff. The time zone issues have definitely been probably the biggest hurdle, but at the same time, it's like eventually you're gonna come up with these things when you have the World Championships starting after, I think they said cycle 4. Yeah. And so what better way to figure out how to communicate across all these different time zones in something like this. And I very much give my hats off to the Battle Frontier staff and the referees for basically working overtime. I think there are referees in there's enough referees in every single region to where we don't really have an overlap where a dispute will get looked at and then the people will be tagged and then time will go past and then a dispute usually gets taken care of within 48 hours ish, unless there's a massive who to thunk or what about this, because this is what the data tells us. So but that's my yay, good job, Battle Frontier.
Yeah.
By the way, happy belated birthday to JetForceGemini.
Thanks. Yeah, we saw the Deadpool and Wolverine buddy cop film.
I still need to see it. I know
it is a cinematic experience. I thought I was ready, and I was not.
Well, I mean, like, I've seen there was a lot of hype around it, and I was gonna go see it eventually, but I just kept forgetting to. But a part of me is also thinking, like, what if I just, wait for it to come out on streaming? So,
Yeah. And if you're a Disney person, that's always a thought at the back of your head, because it's not that long to wait, honestly, for anything nowadays. Whereas just like, you're not missing out that much. It's really just if you want that to be an activity for you.
Yeah, I think like the average used to be 8 weeks of runtime before they moved to like VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. I think now with streaming coming out, it's like 6 weeks now. But don't quote me on that. I'm just going off of, studios wanting to get their cut quicker.
Well, and this can be time dilation talking to a certain degree, but it always felt like there was it felt like forever between when a movie was in theaters and when you could like rent it or whatever, watch it at home. And
yeah.
Now it's just like about the time I remember, like, oh yeah, I wanted to go see that film, I can watch it on streaming.
Yeah, that's true. I still like to go to the movies every now and then. Just, it's a fun thing to do, and it gets me out of the house. I don't, contrary to popular belief, but maybe it's also because I was in house mainly for the last 3-ish months. I get cabin fever set in the summer, which I didn't think was possible.
Well, and I don't know. I feel like we're all a little bit more susceptible to it after life events of some recent years, where it doesn't take a whole lot to feel like you need some routines that just get you out.
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess, routines, I now started a brand new routine. So I guess I'll segue into my week.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I started a new job, thankfully, and I'm gonna love working there. And I have nothing but nice things to say. Like, the working hours are like anywhere from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I go, do I have to stay the whole 10 hours? And no, you don't. Just try to get at least 8 hours. I go, oh, neat. And then, a bunch of other stuff. And they're like, yeah, you just have to basically, so what I do now is I'm managing hotels.
Okay.
I'm a staff accountant for them, so I make sure that they're profitable. And so if a general manager of a hotel calls me, whether from like any of the areas, I'm essentially on call for them. I'll answer their question, and then, I'll go back to the thing I was doing. And so, I guess like with the way that the company culture is like the GMs try to get all your questions in between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So they promote work-life balance, and they were nice enough to set aside an office for my bicycle. But I jokingly said, can I have this office? And they said, why don't you stay with us for a couple of years and then we'll talk.
Nice.
And so now there's going to be like an office that's going to be empty, and it's going to get filled eventually. And there's just going to be my bike that's going to be sitting there staring at them for goodness knows when. So
the bike office. The bike is in.
Office. I want that office. but I like my little cubicle right now. I can see outside, and it's got a very nice, scenery of Iowa. So
did you adopt their water bottle after the initial shunning?
No, I still actually use the water bottle I got in San Antonio. So It's for a completely stupid reason. The only reason why I have not switched over from the white water bottle to from the black to the white water bottle, which, I probably should have brought it in before we recorded, but it's fine. I don't feel like leaving the office right now. Fine. The biggest reason is when I go on a bike ride, if like I go over a puddle of water or like just get in the mud or whatever, that water bottle that's white, it gets dirty really quickly. So I'm gonna use this black one where I can beat up on it and it already looks like it's been through the ringer. I know if you're on video you can't really see it much, but it looks like the previous owner really, really, really used it as like a hammer or something. Like, my goodness.
That's a multi-tool.
Yeah. I mean, it was given to me by a family member down in San Antonio, so you know me. If someone offers me a deal of water, I'm not going to complain too much about it.
Yeah, especially if it fits on the bike.
Yeah. And I guess the other major life update is I became a father. We have adopted a child, and now I guess I am their legal father, per se. So
I kept waiting for you to say dog at some point in that sentence.
Well, yeah, Luna, they changed her name to Lana. Lana's still here. So it's the family, the taco unit has expanded.
Well, yeah, at least congratulations on all the additions.
Thank you. So 2024 has been a little bit of a rough start, or rough going, but it's ever since I got back, it seems that things are looking on the up and up. And
now you hit fast forward on life to catch up.
Like, I got 3 months of stuff to catch up on. Like, we're doing this.
Jumping in.
Full steam ahead. That's all I'm gonna say is full steam ahead. My 29th birthday is coming up, and I know it's the people that are saying, like, Taco, you're not even 30. Just be quiet. I'm like, look,
baby Taco.
Look, I honestly never thought I'd get this far. Like, and I never thought I'd get this far, like, in the sense of what I've done. The friends that I've made along the way. I figured I'd still be staying in
a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like I'd still be in Texas, like in that small town Texas, where like you were born here, you grew up here, you graduated here, you went to college, then you came back, and you will expire here.
Yeah, this is the start and the end.
So I'm super excited about that. And coincidentally, the casino that I told them, hey, I can't take your job offer, is still calling me asking, when am I going to go in for an orientation? I have to give them the old breakup speech, like, it's not you, it's not me, it's you. Like, yeah, I don't want your job anymore.
It's them.
I have some gripes about it, but I'm not going to air the dirty laundry here on the podcast. If you want the tea, talk to me in the Discord about it, and if I remember, I'll tell you.
That's the personal Twitter.
Yeah, I barely use that too. So that was my week, and now, yeah, we're just getting ready to go into September, start of the new season. That Niantic accidentally screwed up and leaked the name a whole 4 days early.
Imagine that.
And then they deleted the tweet, but I mean, we all saw it. I hope.
What was the other thing? The toxicity? The other leak?
Yes.
Where that I don't know that I knew very much about it aside from that they posted it early. I think it wasn't even like someone else leaked it. It was them just posting before they meant to.
I only saw the one where they leaked the name Max Out, but I didn't know if they leaked like new. I do know that. Well, now we know that we're gonna have Harambe the Green Monkey Rillaboom. We're gonna have Messi the Cinderace, and we're gonna have Agent 47 the Inteleon. Like
we're gonna have the Sobble family, whatever the final evolution's called.
I know it's called Inteleon, but I can't think of something like quote unquote cool for it. Like, I'm thinking like 007. Agent 47, Chris Kyle. Like, I don't know. Like, this is everything that's like popping in my head. That, you know, it's just got like that secret agent, long wireless hole puncher vibes. You know,
Naked Gun.
there we go. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much what happened. And then, of course, with Niantic and Battle Frontier news, Popular Community Day is going to be this weekend by the time this episode goes live. So get your...
We'll finally have our answers to Poplio's move mystery.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to be out there just to try to get a hundo and...
True,
yeah. Get that XL candy if I ever feel like building one for the Master League.
Yeah.
And then the second one, which I know everyone is super happy about and nobody is complaining about it whatsoever, Pony Talk Community Day is going to be September the 14th. And why do we all like it? Because it's 3 times Stardust. And I'm going to call this a rare Niantic W because Pony Talk has a really cool shiny. It's blue, and all blue shinies are good shinies in my book. And if you're wrong, well, there's the door.
Well, and it's a shiny everyone likes, and it is actually amazing to me that it hasn't had like a bigger event before now. Like as soon as they mentioned it, I was like, oh, yeah, that is kind of weird. Like, I do have a few of them, but
I remember when Ponyta was released when the shiny was released, it was there for like a very, very slim event. I think it was like when Galarian Ponyta first came out, and then there just hasn't.
Oldest one is from 2020.
I think that was the Galarian Ponyta.
It could have been.
So yeah. Oh, and then the Rapidash, both of them are gonna know Wild Charge with a Fairy Wind buff, and you have a nuke like Wild Charge. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be absolutely broken, but I think it can, do a little bit of damage. I mean, it gets high horsepower, right? Not Drill Run. Well, Kanto gets Drill Run.
Yeah, that is the wording of that question is difficult to answer. But yeah, the issue with the Galarian is it's taking the nerf to Body Slam, right? Like,
yeah.
So I mean, it reasonably stands to have a cheaper charge move slot because like it has its pick of whatever more expensive charge move you want to run for coverage, right? It's got, and especially once you add Wild Charge, it'll be able to hit anything.
Yeah.
So you'll be, at least in GBL, you'll be even more playing move roulette against Rapidash than before.
I mean, you could also use it, say like, say you can forego the Body Slam nerf and just go run double nukes on Galarian Rapidash. I can see that being a viable option.
Yeah,
for the most part. And with Cantonian Rapidash, I'm pulling up the
K-Dash.
Yeah, K-Dash. It's got Fire Spin, Incinerate, Ember. Well, that's a legacy move. But Rapidash on the other side gets Fire Blast, Scorching Sands, Drill Run, Heat Wave, Flame Charge.
It'll be interesting to see if there's any change up on the K-Dash, just because the Incinerate, Flame Charge, Drill Run was already so good.
Yeah. The Incinerate, Flame Charge... We'll go on.
It's like it gives you a little bit like a Mew coverage, I guess, with the double charges as soon as you swap in Wild Charge for the Drill Run, and there's several places where the Drill Run is just kind of redundant anyway with the fire moves. So it could be good, but then you're also removing your rock type coverage specifically.
Yeah. I mean, Fire Spin's also supposed to be in a buff next season, if I remember correctly, right?
But it's 1 damage, and I don't know that it's enough still. Like, it's okay. The biggest issue with Fire has always been just that it's clunky. The charge, it doesn't charge particularly fast, like apart from Incinerate, which has other issues, right? Like you're locked into a long move and there's only so much you can do with that. And that's why there's still some people who prefer like Shadow Claw Typhlosion or have gone the Ember route, even though after last season's buff to Fire Spin, so this is now at least 2 seasons in a row that Fire Spin has gotten buffed, that it will possibly be move of choice, for certain. But the example in my head that just it feels really wrong for is Charizard, where the wing attack on it was just such a godsend with that buff, right? Like, it came at the perfect time for Ember Cup, and if it's going back to how it was before that, it's not the end of the world, but it's gonna feel bad if you got used to it after the change.
Yeah, it did, no pun intended, swoop in at the best time and just destroyed or burned the entire meta. I still have fond memories of losing to a Shadow Charizard's Blast Burn. Rest in peace, Cradley.
And it's just strictly slower, which when you have a frail Pokemon like that, the pacing is half of the equation, I feel. And I can't just based on that, I can't decide if they actually want to buff fire types or not. Or it's just they can't seem to actually get all the pieces lined up for it correctly.
Yeah, I think that Wild Charge itself is going to be a bigger upgrade on Kanto Ninetales than Galarian Ninetales, and my reasoning for that is,
are we talking about Rapidash?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Kanto Rapidash versus Galarian Rapidash, because Galarian Rapidash has Mega Horn, Psychic, Play Rough, High Horsepower. All of those moves, with the exception of Psychic, are pretty good. And I really wish that they would add the 10% chance for Play Rough to drop attack, because I love Chaos. If Body Slam is considered not good, so Wild Charge.
The issue with that, of course, is Azumarill. But
did I stutter?
Okay. Yeah, because it wasn't. Yeah, it's not already good enough. The thing that I wish they did was it would have been something similar to the Electabuzz Magmar combo, where they switched move typings.
That's a genius idea.
Where it was the Thunderbolt and the Flamethrower went to the opposite Mon kind of deal, where they got something unique.
Yeah. And something a little bit off the wall.
Yeah.
I still remember my Electivire cooking a Galarian Stunfisk. It was the absolute greatest day of my life. I still lost, but the fact that I cooked the Galarian Stunfisk was great.
Well, yeah, just the fact you have Flamethrower on it instead of an Ice Punch is already funny. But yeah, the one other thing that would be nice, and they could still do for all I know, is just add the shadows.
Yeah, they could. They could. So, those are our thoughts on, community day, I think it's going to be a very good day. I mean, this is probably one of the few community days that feature 3-time Stardust that I'm actually excited for.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be perfectly usable mon, especially if you're playing any metas that are restricted in any way that they appear in, like, as you know, from even GBL stuff, where, like, whether it be the Kanto Cup or the Psychic Cup.
Yeah, the hardest part is playing down there is probably going to be it's during Hawkeye football game, and so the bars are going to be packed, which means more cell phones, which means worse service, which means meh.
So
I don't like it.
It's basically a Niantic in-person event.
Pretty much, yeah. I will probably play at one of the parks that's nearby, or I'll just get on a bicycle and ride all over the place till I find some good spawns.
There you go.
So,
was there any other news stuff?
There's the Triumph Together event, which is, I mean, you can get the mascot of the Team Valor, Team Instinct, and Team Mystic.
The end of season bonanza.
Yeah. Which, if I'm being frank,
I'm not mad about it. These are good bonuses.
Yeah, if I'm being frank, this is the only time I will give Team Valor a compliment. Out of the 3 mascot Pokemon, Ponyta looks the best.
And if we're talking about additional wishes, just like from a gameplay standpoint, I still wish there was some persistent bonus to being on one team versus another. Like, I feel like that would actually make it mean something. So you could, like, pick based on gameplay style, but yeah, it's a little sad that it's kind of relegated to, oh, you get bonus whatever for a week, but everyone gets it, but we're going to pretend like this is, like, somehow intrinsic to the team. It's like, okay,
yeah.
All right, sure.
And yeah, I mean, I guess, like, Valor, you know, they can be the PvP team, even though I think the best battlers have been on Team Instinct, but I'm not going to say that part out loud. I already did.
It's just
so,
in
like,
our head.
Yeah, that's my copium. Team Instinct, they can have, you know, double Stardust from eggs, but, you know, make it also catching Stardust. Like, if you're on Team Instinct, get bonus Stardust. If you're on Team Mystic, you get bonus Candy. And if you're on Team Valor, get bonus XP. Like, I don't really see...
Or even if it was just, like, a little bit of extra XP for certain things, like gym battles or eggs or whatever. It wouldn't have to be a lot, but just, like, something would be nice.
I just want the more Stardust on Team Instinct. Like, I need my Stardust.
I hear you. Oh, well, and I guess I can do an early achievement thing before we move on, since you mentioned Stardust. And I don't think I posted it anywhere, but I hit 10 million dust for the first time ever.
Can I have a loan of, like, 3 million Stardust?
Just a small loan of 3 million Stardust.
I need to build some stuff for the Master League.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
You're gonna play out the season in Master League?
If you loan me the 3 million, I will.
Hey, it's in all the gifts I said.
Open gifts. Taco. Okay. We still haven't gotten Lucky Friends, and it's been 2 seasons.
Yeah, someday.
Ventura. We'll get Lucky Friends.
Yeah, next LA event we'll have our next Lucky trade.
All right, let's go into the meta usage before it gets any later.
Good updates.
It's
Solid.
Battle Frontier time. So here we go. Apparently, y'all decided that Skeledirge is the undisputed king of Open Great League. Oh wait, I should probably put the little...
We know why.
There we are. So for those of you following along at home, I will read off as much as... That's the wrong one.
That's week 2.
Yeah, it is. I don't like it. Stand by. There we go.
Stand by for edit.
In real time. And just part of our heads are cut off. Anyway.
We don't need those.
Yeah. Anyway, y'all decided Skeledirge is going to be on at least 42% of the teams. So with that increase of close to 10%, it is now for the 3rd week in a row, the number 1 Pokemon.
Yeah, that part hasn't changed. It's just kind of interesting that it did like the roller coaster. Like it dipped out 10%, still at number 1, but now it's back up.
Yeah. You know what? Sunfist number 2 is a very great pick. Serperior at number 3. Actually jumping from 6 to 3 is a good one. Gudra's still there. And Cresselia as well. Cressalia's going to do Cresselia things. Double nuke, Grass Knot, Moonblast. Take your pick and go from there.
Yeah, Serp on a consistent climb. So apparently people are finding it useful. Obviously, it's very good against Stunfisk.
Very good. I mean, it also technically, quote unquote, walls Gudra. Because the most common moveset... Hear me out. I see that face you're making. Because the most common moveset of Aqua Tail, Thunder Punch, Serperior is resisted. It's resisted into Serperior. And Aerial Ace is... Although I don't understand why. It's neutral, but you can still throw that Frenzy Plant. And so it can get a little bit of a dicey matchup.
Yeah, it's not as comfortable as it should be for a dragon, but yeah, the Serp, I guess, is just here to hang out.
Let me cook. I promise, the chef is in tonight. I've helped direct my team, with their Pokemon reveals. The first thing I do is I give them a little explanation to kind of steer them in the right direction for strategies. And we've only lost 1 game. And the 1 week that we lost, I did not do that. So, coincidence? I think not. But okay.
Yeah, we've apart from Guzzlord staying lower and Charger also down, we've kind of had a return to week 1 usage for the most part.
Yeah, I wonder if everybody...
Serperior kind of took the slot.
I wonder if everybody collectively decided that they were going to just experiment the entire time in the Battle Frontier.
Well, I will be surprised 0% if we see an uptick in stuff that is about to get nerfed after this week. I know personally I will probably run at least 1 Mon that I will be less likely to run after this week.
You gonna run Fearow?
If I had a Fearow built already, I would do that, but no.
Okay. No. Gotcha. Alright. Open Ultra League now. If you don't have any final thoughts on the Open Great League.
No, that was good.
Okay. Open Ultra League, where Skeledirge is not only the number 1 Pokemon in the Open Great League, it's also the number 1 Pokemon in the Open Ultra League.
Again.
And even though its usage decreased from 34% to 28%. What is happening? I mean, Poliwrath increase is slowly going up. Maybe next week, maybe this week, Poliwrath overtakes Skeledirge at number 1. This coming week. You also still have the Trevenant.
Where's the Shadow Poliwrath? Oh, it's down at 4%. I was like,
ugh.
So yeah, technically number 1 overall is Poliwrath for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8.5. So for the first time, I think, like when you add it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas last week it was still under total Skeledirge usage.
Yes, I remember that. And now it's consistently like above it. Trevenant jumped up, I think, 5 spots because it's sitting at 3rd. No, 9th. 9th to 3rd. It jumped 6 spots.
And same with you had the Drapion call out, and there it is, up in top 5 now.
I've been redeemed. Actually,
Yep.
no, I don't even think I was redeemed on anything. But
Well, and for clarity's sake, it is the Shadow Drapion. I think we mentioned that specifically last time too, where that just seems to be the one that Ultra League prefers.
yeah, and that Pokemon is supposed to get better. Oh, I'm getting a fact check in real time by one of our patrons.
That's good.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Okay, so it's not a fact check. It's we're gonna talk about it in their match in one of the matchups. So
Gotcha.
I want to say, fellow patron, thanks Obama. I appreciate the message. And we'll get to it after the statistics. And they gave us a play-by-play. I love this man. Or wait, he's thanks Obama. He's not a trainer, thanks. he changes his name a lot. Okay.
Previously formerly known as Thanks Obama.
Yes.
Was there anything else crazy and new in Ultra, or
not entirely. Nothing's kind of like has jumped out. You know, Shadow Ampharos taking a small dive from 3rd to 4th isn't too bad. The only thing I probably have to say about like Shadow Ampharos is even though Brutal Swing is getting a quote nerf, it still can do a lot of damage.
Oh, you're okay. So before you got interrupted, you were talking about Drapion getting the buff.
Oh yes, the Poison Sting buff.
And again, I'm just very much on the fence for this buff, where I don't know how helpful it's gonna be.
Well, like I think let's say because Taco likes even numbers, that Poison Sting did 5 damage. You give it the Shadow bonus, it's doing an extra damage right off the bat. So your Poison Stings are doing 6 damage. Which essentially, because Mudshot does 6 damage and it's a 2-turn fast move already. If I'm not too mistaken.
So
like
before the changes come in September, Mudshot and Poison Sting are identical.
okay.
So this is going to be where they diverge.
Gotcha. Because one's getting buffed with more damage and one's getting nerfed with...
They're both getting more damage.
Oh, they're both getting more damage.
So that part is the same. Yeah.
But Mudshot's getting less energy generation?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. I'm following as best as I can.
And that's I wish more of the nerfs got that sort of treatment where they're like more on balance shifts, where some of them have been, right? Like there are some of the moves that are going to be more energy that are also going to do more damage and stuff like that, but they're like, yeah, it just makes me feel bad for the Pokemon that very recently like got to kind of shine, looking at like Empoleon and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, that got their pacing to the right place, so now they like are viable, and now it's just like, no, turns out that was a bad idea, so now we're taking it away from everybody.
But Empoleon has access to Metal Claw, which is currently supposed to get a buff.
Right, but is it gonna be enough? Is the trade-off?
I actually have to think about it now, because does it get Metal Claw in? Yeah, okay, he gets Metal Claw.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's once again, we're not going to be able to see like the energy generating usage that Metal Claw is going to bring. If Metal Claw happens to be a Shadow Claw clone, wouldn't that make Empoleon better?
Something might happen.
One of the patrons has joined. That should not happen. It's the wrong tier, but it's okay.
They can be special today.
They can, yay. We're not going to kick him. So, getting back to what I was saying, we had So yeah, if Metal Claw happens to be a Shadow Claw clone this next season, Empoleon is going to be really, really good, and I am here for it.
I'll be pleasantly surprised, but we'll know when we know.
Yeah, we'll find out on September 3rd, like everyone else. Although maybe a popular opinion, but I think Niantic should just release the values. Like, they know what they're gonna be. They just have to press a button on the deal to, make it go burr. But when they say stuff like increased energy damage or increased energy generation, or
and the fact that it's obscured, but they are now giving us, for the most part, actually saying the damage changes. It's just like, why is part of this still being like a mystery?
You're not hyping anyone. Like, honestly, I think if Niantic said, okay, like, we'll use the move update that they use this come during Worlds when they announced the changes. Had they announced, like, okay, Body Slam, the energy, it's going to cost, I think it's like, 45 energy right now? If it says, okay, it's going to do... let me cook.
Okay.
If it's like, say... Maybe lose my train of thought now. Let's say, Body Slam, Body Slam is going to lose 10 damage. And it's going to cost 10 more energy.
Jesus.
Like, we would know that. Not just, it's going to cost more energy. Like, I know everybody's looking at Lantern like, they're going to go now, but we don't know how much Energy Surf is going to cost yet. And I think, me personally, like, if I saw that, I would say, let me start planning my teams, because I'm Dustpour and I need to know what I'm going to build. And what am I going to throw away for the next field that comes out for the Battle Frontier. So I think Niantic would get a lot more quote-unquote hype if they just released everything when they were supposed to, and not make us wait until, like in this case, September 3rd.
Yeah. And especially since we have the last quote-unquote preview event, which also feels like a weird thing to call it in the first place, where the first time they did it, I thought to myself, we're just gonna get like a taste, and we're gonna get an overall just kind of vibe for what changes are coming, and it was the whole change list, and that is exactly what they did again. And it's just, okay, all right, okay.
I'm pretty sure someone just hits Control Copy and Control V, Control C, Control V.
But I like your idea of eventually just having an actual move database on their end somewhere.
Yeah. And so, like, that's kind of like the I guess that's the way I'm looking at it. But before we go off on another tangent, we should probably go on to the Master League.
Yeah, probably.
Where Master League, Annihilate once again continues to be number one. It's dropped a little bit overall, but when you're fighting, when your number two is Hisui and Avalugg, which loses to Annihilate, who loses to Tapu Bulu, who loses to Hisui and Avalugg. There's your core of Master League picks, and everyone else is free to basically do whatever they want.
Well, it's your team fillers, right? We spent way too long talking about it last time.
Yeah, we did.
Where it was it's an efficiency thing where they pop up because they have to.
Yeah, Hornet
this is the best of the bin.
Yeah, and Hornet also did say it, like, when you're building a team, the PvPoke website just defaults to using these three, and at the end of the day, you're picking them. Now watch Primarina come in and just break everything. Except, Tapu Bulu, but...
So I guess also checking just what our other bigger changes are. We have Gudra dropping a fair amount.
Yeah, Gudra is at 16%, down from 22%. Palkia Origin's at close to 17%, which it's slowly rising.
Well,
Gyarados-
and it's also almost an exact flip in usage between Gudra and Gyarados, and they do very similar things, so that makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah, and I mean, given the choice, I would probably take Gudra over Gyarados, but I can see the reason for, at least like if it's an issue of points.
Well,
Gyarados,
I think the Gyarados are they both 1 point? I'm so bad at remembering this off the top of my head.
I think, and that's when you know I'm going to be wrong. I use the words I think.
No, I'm going looking because I know Gyarados is definitely 1. Yeah,
Gyarados is a 1 point pick. Gudra is 0. So
good enough that they're actually willing to go for the point value.
Yeah. But I mean, if you choose an SS tier, like say Mega Gardevoir, you're default to running Gudra. And, vice versa. Alright, so that's Master League. Any final thoughts before we move on into the domains or the cups or fields? Whatever the staff feels like calling them today.
Yeah, I was just checking the other kind of upticks because we have Mewtwo, Yveltal, and Mega Blaziken just up a bit, which are on the lower end overall point value, but still.
Yeah, Mega Blaziken looks like it's a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what were the other ones you said?
Mewtwo and Yveltal.
Mewtwo's a 3 point. Yveltal is
1.
1. Yeah, I see it. The bacon bird, as we all like to call it.
Only the shiny version.
Well, I'm used to seeing everybody just spam pictures of it. That now, when I look for Yveltal, I look for the shiny form, not the red and black.
Fair.
Which I, personally speaking, I think the red and black looks better than the red and white. But you can fight me. You can fight me in the comments. That's okay. I'm not a shiny hunter, so that's me.
Well, yeah, my hundo is a regular one also, so I'm in camp regular.
I'm in camp regular because I'm required to be. What if you get a lucky hundo? Are you gonna be in camp shiny?
Are you talking about a lucky shundo?
Yeah, lucky shundo.
If I'm not investing. I went all in on the original.
That's fair. All right, Polaris Cup.
Did stuff change?
Tyrant went down to just over 50%. Frostlass.
I don't think I've ever seen the triple down arrow and still had the overall usage over 50.
I love it. Like, Polaris Cup is so, for lack of
no
pun intended. For lack of no pun intended, Polaris is so polarizing. Dad jokes go Bert. But yeah, just this is now Frostlass's field, and I will not be playing with it. I absolutely think Frostlass is overrated. So Terry, I will fight you not in Columbus at NAIC, but NAIC is in New Orleans. So we'll fight in New Orleans.
The other LA.
Yeah.
It looks like Snorlax is kind of in a similar range to where it has been overall, where it's kind of sitting in top 2, top 3.
I accidentally misread Samurott as a Snorlax, and I was going to say it's like at 70% usage, but that's completely incorrect.
No Shadow Samurott, although that would be fun.
Please no.
Why
But
not?
yes. Do you have any idea? The
I
sheer
have many
buffoonery.
ideas.
Yeah, I was like the sheer buffoonery that would cause. I mean, I love it. I'm here for the chaos, but no, please.
It's well poised to take advantage of the vacuum that the Mudshot hydro cannoners are going to leave behind.
We're supposed to leave that open for Gastrodon.
They're still doing Gastrodon dirty.
I know. It's okay. But yeah,
we-
unfortunately,
we've got kind of our same deal
Yeah.
for Polaris.
Polaris unfortunately has not changed much. So we're just gonna move on over into Wasteland, which Melmetal last week was at 83%, drops to just under 80%, and Berserker is just it falling. Berserker's at 28 last week. Now it's at 25.
Again, not this upcoming week, but the week after, it'll be very interesting to see what happens to Berserker because, the Rock Slide, like, depending how bad Rock Slide gets, that's gonna matter a whole lot for Melmetal.
All right, and Lady Anne is sitting at 5% usage. People are really trying to make it work. I applaud them. I don't think it works here.
I think it's fine. It's one of the very few kind of bulk mons that you can even like remotely reliably run. And the mon that I expect to be the hero of next week and then drop pretty hard is Furret. Just the fact that it's up already, I think, is a little bit of the story in action. It was up last week as well. Just I think everyone that loves Furret is gonna get all the mileage, and then kind of similar story for Dig. It's gonna change a lot of matchups because not stab. Just it's gonna be tougher for Furret.
Yeah, and kind of looking at like Furret. I mean, I'm gonna segue Furret a little bit because every time I hear Furret, I think of the Pokemon Black and White GIF where Furret is just walking. And the song like it plays in my head randomly, and it happened at work today. I saw the little GIF of Ferret, walking around in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet, and it said, the guy was making lyrics to it, and at the end it says, "Clean your room. It's been 3 weeks." And I'm like, why you gotta attack me like that? I was like, no, I will not clean my room out of spite now. It's also Monday, and I live in the office.
Yeah, no fair attacking me on Monday. Who are other honorable mentions for last week on this planet Wasteland?
Frostlass is, it's still sitting at 40% usage, but I don't know why.
I don't think you understood my question.
Oh, honorable mention. There's Pangoro, which is sitting at 10% usage.
Well, and it's very likely to get like kicked out just because of the changes.
To the Mad Lads that ran Aggron, Haunter, Sharpedo, and Klinklang. Yeah, you get a thumbs up for just that choice.
Hey, Zap Cannon's no joke. And
you're
like,
right.
I realize you probably haven't team built for Wasteland, but that's one of the Pokemon that can come up as a top threat, just because it has the ridiculous bait move and then can take out a lot of the meta with a single Zap Cannon. So it's just kind of a sim hero that's sitting there like, have you considered Klinklang?
Klinklang is the Pokemon version of Clippy. But the other honorable mention I wanted to call out was Mightyena.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, our opponent brought Mightyena this week. They won one game for the surprise factor, and then drop, Doggy.
I will say that something I forgot until I was looking at Mightyena this last week as potentially, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. But anyway, I forgot that it learns all of the fangs, not just Fire Fang. So you talk about surprise potential, and I think the real surprise is if you run into a Mightyena running Thunder Fang.
Yeah, that's pretty shocking. I did not mean to make that fun.
All right, what's next? We gotta move on now. That's it.
Taco makes dad joke. We gotta go to the next thing.
That's it.
All right.
It's over now.
All right. Thanks for coming, y'all. Have a good night. All right. Here's the battle scores. Bam.
Boom.
And I made sure that I checked my notes correctly this time, so there won't be another edit in real time.
There. we didn't omit an entire tower.
So we do have a bit of a play-by-play. We're gonna go back in time to week 2 with Pioneer Valley's upset to the Lucky Mugs. I'm gonna pause the slideshow right here for a second. Pause. So, Thanks Obama was very, very awesome, and we love him. And I'm not saying that because he's a patron. I'm saying that because he's legitimately a very nice dude. I hope to one day meet him in real life. So, he gave us a play-by-play of what was going on. And the game started out with an 8-4 run, which honestly is a pretty wild start. And then they kind of stumbled a little bit in the mid-game. And obviously I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he also gave me, Thursday they had Bobby Lee Torch. They won 2-1. Then they had Gortakum. At this point, I've already given up on trying to pronounce the name. I'm very sorry.
Keep going. Just roll.
Yeah, he also won 2-1. Friday, Column NF won 2-1. And then on Saturday, one of the fields, they had BMB also won 2-1. And so like on Saturday, they had... Oh, well, that was also Saturday. So Saturday, they also had Ace Slider in the Ultra League. They were unfortunately swept 0-3. And then Arno Gods, I think that's a new player. I don't recognize that trainer on the... I don't recognize Arno Gods' name. And so he was able to win 2-1. And so it was 10-8 going in. And it came down to the very final match. Oh, he's typing. Arnold Gods and I'm Slacking Off are both new to the team and new to team competition. I am super happy that, an established team like Pioneer Valley PvP is bringing in some new talent so that, like, new players get to play and they didn't just make, like, an academy team. So, all the claps. And so finally, in the final one, the rookie... I'm Slacking Off had to get one point to win, and the score says 1-2, but my headcanon is I'm Slacking Off lost the first 2 games to make it 10-10, and he pulled out a late game 3 to win it 11-10.
The true tiebreaker.
Yeah, because that sounds like it's the best story to be made.
Well, and. While we're here, we can call out the low kicks pick as well, just as that is amazing. Thanks, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry for what's about to happen to it.
Thanks, Obama. I know, he just took the wind out of my sails. He's like, it's not that cool. He won the first game and then got alignment losses in 2 and 3. Okay, because you were there, I'll take your word for it. But you can't change my headcanon. We can embellish the truth a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Alrighty, so in week 3, round 3, the midpoint, the scores are listed on the screen. Once again, I did not. Oh, it was a low kick sweep in game 3. See, that's the story we're gonna go with.
Yeah, we knew. Totes.
So, in this one, Battle Tower A, the top 8 teams are Sky Dragons Gaming, 46 points, Cool Cats, 42 points, Pioneer Valley PvP at 37 points. They're holding their own against...
Big 3-0.
Yeah, Big 3-0, holding their own and being up there with, Sky Dragons Gaming, Cool Cats, Home Slice Homies number 4, Legends United, European Emperors, 5th place, 2-1, Canadian Shieldon, 2-1, and Sky and Steel, 2-1, Backstage Battlers, 2-1. The 2-1 teams are basically fighting for 6th place right now because the Emperors have a 6-point lead. It's not going to get made up.
They have the same game total, or a higher overall game total than the team in 2nd place.
Yeah, it's wild.
Okay, who did they lose to?
They lost Home Slice Homies 9-12.
Okay, so a relevant loss. That's okay. Big deal.
Yeah, and they won their first game. They beat Team Swamp Power 18-3, and then they beat Premier Raids 17-4.
So they had a little bit of a rebound round 3.
Yeah, and then Pioneer Valley upset Canadian Shieldon 12-9. I mean, it's there right there, but I just kind of screen cropped and didn't look at it. All I'm gonna say is, I'm glad Pioneer Valley is not in the Premier tier anymore.
I like how Thanks Obama just was chatting up a week 2 play by play, but casually swept this past week as well.
Sorry, 11-10 just looks cooler than 12-9, okay? That's what we're gonna go with, at least. Oh. Jet, I'm sorry, they're still in Premiere.
We wanted to play them anyway.
That's true. I want a rematch with Gortaga, but I'm not gonna get my chance this time.
Yeah. Not in the cards.
It's okay. So, as I was saying with the rest of them, Cool Cats absolutely dominates Texas PvP. Sky Dragons squeaks by with Ashes, Dynasty Elite. Home Slice Homies barely takes home against Backstage Battlers. That is something. So, that's your top 8. Going into the penultimate week, it's Sky Dragons versus Home Slice. Pioneer Valley does not. It seems like it's another difficult matchup against Cool Cats. They are.
Well, they're legitimately in the running for one of the world spots. This is your competition.
Yeah. If Pioneer Valley beats Cool Cats and then beats the winner of Home Slice Homies and Sky Dragons Gaming, it'll be Pioneer Valley essentially claiming victory in Tower A and getting the world final spot. And I will cheer on them the loudest if Diner Don't Care does not get the invite, which statistically I don't think it will happen because something about undefeateds, blah blah blah. But we'll see. That's all we can really do is hope and pray and hope for a miracle. And maybe the website crashing and giving Diner the number 1 spot. Totally deserved.
That's not how we want to do it.
Yeah. So, Pioneer Valley PvP, I am hoping and pulling for y'all to upset the Cool Cats, and then if y'all end up playing Sky Dragons Gaming, upset them too, or Home Slice Homies. We'll cheer you on from Towers B and D.
My other team that I'm checking in on while we're in A is the Get Gudra squad.
Oh, how did they do? Oh, they lost to PB and Jelly.
Yeah.
Big sad.
Well, they've got 2 more weeks, so I'm just keeping an eye on them, see how the friends do in their kind of first team effort.
Well, it's also their first time in factions, coming together as a team.
Correct.
So
yeah.
There is going to be some growing pains, especially with, when we started, it was still kind of the Wild West versus things are a little more established here.
Yeah.
We continued on. And so like the skill level when we started was probably like right here versus the skill level when they started is like a little bit higher. So
I see we have another tie.
yeah, we're not gonna talk about it.
Is this at least the first tie in Tower A?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well that's good.
So that's yeah. I can't really say or do much of anything, but I want to move on to Tower B before anything, because Taco had a week. Taco had a big week.
Yeah, this is your tower now.
This is my tower, so I'm going to continue to do more talking. So we had Inferno Overdrive defeating potentially Wasteful 10-11, Nexus Sacred Swords Elite. Seriously, adding Elite after everything, just it's not just them. It's Fusion Bolt Strikers.
It's not just MJ.
Yeah, like Jet. Maybe we should add Elite to our teams. The Dark Knight Elite, Diener Don't Care Elite.
That should only be for our APAC team if we make one.
Okay. So if you're an APAC and you want to join it, no, I can't. I can't do it with a straight face.
Dratini Martini's Elite.
All right, I'm sending my lawyers to draft that cease and desist to the other. I know that Dratini. I know that the Dratini and a Martini as a logo here somewhere in one of these towers. Anyway,
or at very least for the next cycle.
Yeah. Anyway, so Fearsome Frostlass, which is weird. We beat Fearsome Frostlass in the beginning, but they're above us in points. We're tied in points now. Never mind.
They're just for some reason above you.
Yeah, I don't like it. But it's okay.
Oh, I guess because you have it's just alphabetical.
Yeah. So here we also had what's it called? Yeah, and so week number 3, Northeast Battlers defeats Aztec League 12-9, Brave Birds beats A Cold Love for the win, and then Majada's Ravens defeats SoCal Swablu Blue 15-6. What's that?
I'm just curious about the reference there. If it's like a H sounding J, like Mahada.
I mean, if I mispronounce the team, they know where to get a hold of me. But Mahada's Ravens, that sounds a lot better. We'll go with that one. I mean, it's 2 Corbinites, which I think is pretty cool.
It means a sheep pen.
So, yeah. And then this week, the Dark Knight, we were able to take a 12-9 victory over No Signal. This is where I'm going to have to get a little salty.
Oh, it could be Honduras.
Oh.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so this is where I'm going to get a little salty, and I'm very much like probably going to ask, or I have asked for some clarification on this, just for going forward. So one of the things was this match was a little bit dicey. I ended up having to file 4 disputes for because it was just hard to get things scheduled, and obviously time zones are a massive factor. But again, the rules, it says after 24 hours, if there's no contact, we'll have to file. So I ended up filing 4. We got 3 back, saying okay, these 3 are valid. This one with an emergency sub is invalid. See, I was under the impression that no matter what, contact had to be made. But so the rule is if there's an E-sub that's filed within the time that Pokemon or team players are revealed to when Pokemon are revealed, that adds to the timer. So I didn't learn. I misinterpreted that rule. That's on me. I got a warning. It was very well deserved. Yeah, Taco messed up.
Well, it's a good clarification to have, especially since it's kind of niche, right?
Yeah. The other thing was, and this is something that I did not know. So one of our players was late, or one of our players' opponent was late, and so I reached out and I was like, hey, so I said, hey, so it looks like one of your players missed the time. My guy's got a very, very limited play window today. Can we figure something out? So he's like, yeah. He's like, no problem. Let me message him. Sorry. Like we're both very cordial back and forth. Like there, and I explained everything. Like, look, man, I don't want to file a dispute, but at the end, I'm gonna have to because 4 of my guys still haven't heard from their opponent. So I got to do it. I'm sorry. And so, I mean, he was very understanding, like super chill about it. Turns out we didn't have to file for that one, even though he was late by about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
My guy ended up getting the sweep, which was fine. Like there was really nothing to dispute at that point. Like because at the end of the day, I asked him like, "Hey, do you want to play or do you want points?" And he goes, "I want to play." I was like, "All right, that's you then. Like I trust you." A couple of hours later, another one of our players said to go. He was late about an hour, and so like I had already gone to bed. Unfortunately, I had no knowledge that a dispute was being filed, and one was filed while I was asleep. And so one of the things that was like, in the meantime, they had already did their battle, and our guy won like 3-0, with the 1 point, and then who won the other 2 games. When I learned about it, I was like, hey, okay, no problem. Let me figure out to see what the issue is. Like, I'm just getting up. And then a couple of hours later, there was an announcement that was made. It was just like, hey, your guy missed the deadline. A dispute was filed. This is a new matchup. And a part of me is like, so are we not supposed, like, correct me if I'm wrong, and please somebody do. When it comes to, like, if captains can't agree on something, then a dispute gets filed. I felt like I was blindsided with a dispute, and, like, that was kind of like no bueno one. Like for me, it just felt like a gut punch where my guy, like essentially it was the circumstances reverse, and I tried to like say, hey, let's come to an agreement without disputing, and the other one was just like, we're gonna dispute. Which I mean, according to the rules, it was valid, no harm, no foul. To me, it's as a captain, it can get a little frustrating as to like where the line is from. Like what constitutes this versus what constitutes this. And I may be a referee, but I'm only human, and I get things wrong too. Especially when I handle disputes. Like, is it like this? Is it like I'll be the guy that asks 1,000,001 questions when I can, because I like to learn. So this was a learning experience for me. It was a very, very rough week with a lot of, hey, can you check on your guys for me? Or hey, my guy's having some issues, please help me. But all in all, I wish no ill will towards the opponents this week. They tried their hardest. They had a sweep in the Ultra League, which was super awesome of them. Like they kept it close the entire way, and it just feels like the end was kind of a bummer because a dispute was kind of like essentially a 3-1 start, which can really hurt a team. That's my 2 cents as a captain, just trying to figure out, navigate the waters. And I asked for clarification. I got it. I'm not going to disclose it here. And so, like, basically, the rules say you're late, a dispute can be filed. So I learned. I've been doing this for a year, and I'm still learning, which is good because I love to learn. And I also did not notice that it went through to.
So just like a lot of speedier resolution, it seems like, where it's just it's in everyone's best interest for things to go faster in general. For
I mean, I guess for me, like, my whole thing is let's not get like let's talk. Let's come to an agreement together, because captains. The rule is if captains can't agree on something, or not the rule, but like the general understanding that I've had is if captains can't agree, bring it up to the refs. Or if you're going to dispute, say, hey, I'm going to file a dispute. This is what I am. And, at least the other captain sees it. But I guess also because, like, with the giant time zone difference, and I had not responded within 10 minutes. I mean, yeah, it's that. I am a tad salty, but I'll get over it. So.
It looks like there was only 120 total in this batch. The Thunder Squirrels into Scavaliers.
Yeah, there was some issues with that one, but it was a little unfortunate, but it got cleared up for the time being.
But in general, it's just more of a. It seems like, for the most part, things are getting figured out. Like it's not like people aren't setting lineups and stuff that we've seen a lot of in the past, where that has been the biggest reason for a team to start 0-2, and then that leads to the ties that we've seen. But yeah.
Yeah. And so for this week, we have Brave Nerds versus Sacred Swords, which is going to be a great matchup. Inferno Overdrive draws Northeast Battlers. Mahada's Ravens gets Psyduck and Soup. Potentially Wasteful gets Fearsome Frostlass. Fusion Bolt Strikers Elite gets a Cold Love. And then finally, the Dark Knight draws iCarly Fan Club. A very, very talented team. And I am very much looking forward to battling them.
Yeah, we've talked about them a time or two.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Tower C. So here we have
there is to see.
That was a terrible dad joke. I love it. Okay, so here we have Pogoats defeating Thunder Road 14-7. OPDC beats Phantom Claws. I swear if there's an elite in the title. There is an elite in the title. Beats Phantom Claws Elite 10-11. Snowbirds upset Decidueye Dynasty. Is it Black? Black, yeah. 11-10.
The real Decidueye Dynasty.
And then Utter Madness upsets Gorilla Garbodors 12-9. Team Beginners winner beats Coastal 14-7, and I'm just kind of bouncing up and down from there. TNT Fingles beats the Collective 17-4. We didn't talk about them enough, so we got to do it again. And then got to give a shout out. Queen Bees defeats Team Beginners winner Trez 11-10. Good claps all around. So, and the only reason why I knew about Snowbirds was because Smart Ball in one of Zimmy's chats is on that team, and they said that they won, and their reward is they get Pogoats.
They get a shot at the crown. This is very similar to the Pioneer Valley route, where kind of the underdogs, so you get thrown under the bus first.
Yeah, that is another team in Open, which, depending on how they're battling, I'm going to be excited to battle them.
Just taking a quick look at the Snowbirds matchup, that one looked pretty volatile. I think there were 4 sweeps in that matchup.
Oh Lord!
But they all perfectly canceled each other out, so then it was the other 3.
I'm getting whiplash just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's that's pretty intense.
And so with this one, we have, so Pogoats and Snowbirds is the matchup number 1. TNT Fingles and OPDC. Actually, let's not talk about TNT Fingles, because this is probably the best that they are doing in quite some time. And I jinxed them.
They're just floating along.
Yeah.
Who did they have before? Okay, it's Feeling Good.
They had It's Feeling Good, and then they also had... Where are you? Why aren't you? I can't see you in week 2.
Wait.
Oh, I'm in week 1. I'm big fun.
Oh. There's only 3 undefeated teams in Tower C.
I don't like this game. Get me off this ride.
Oh. Okay, so that clears up some of my confusion. I was a little stuck because they lost. TNT Vingles lost to Decidueye Dynasty in week 1.
There it is.
That was my hold up a minute moment. my other one, I have to look at this, is the Wing Attack 2 versus A9 Elites, because there are only 18 points on that one. Was that just one matchup didn't play?
I don't think a matchup ever played.
Yeah, that's all.
And it was the Polaris slot.
Yep. Okay. Well, mystery solved.
Yeah. It happens from time to time. Like,
well, and especially if it's the last matchup and it's already decided, it could technically be less impactful, but at the same time, there's only 5 weeks here. Those 3 points could matter
a lot
when it comes down to it. Like, they might already. No, they don't matter currently, but they still could.
I don't know what happens, but yeah,
you left for a moment.
Oops.
You're back now.
Yeah, computer's gonna computer.
Don't worry. I just have Mario 64 menu music playing in the background.
That's alright. I think it knows that, like, I'm switching the case out soon. My buddy is my buddy tried to build a computer, right? He bought the tower, this massive tower.
Yeah.
And he never bought his parts. So I was helping him move some stuff out, and I go, "Is that?" I asked him, like, "Is that part of, like, the table?" And he goes, "No, that's just a computer case. You can have it if you want." And I go, "Not now. My wife will kill me."
Soon.
So he's kind of held it over for me.
Nice.
Alrighty, so finally, let's move on into the final tier, or tower, which is Tower D. It's your tower. Tower D for D-Nair.
It sure is. I like how that worked out also.
Yeah. Alrighty, so for round 3, we had Nexus Fusion Flares Elite lose to Doggy Academy 11-10.
Doggy Academy, low key, just chugging right through.
I know. I also love their logo with the Arcanine. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Chicago Stars is blown out of the water by SoCal Swablu San Diego.
San Diego kids. Speaking of low key, like, just chugging right on through.
Yeah. Tinker Trotters defeats London's Finest. 2 Psyduck 2 Soup defeats Raging Rayquazas. And actually, 2 Psyduck 2 Soup. I think that's the sister team of Psyduck and Soup. Looks, their logo. Those logos look very similar, so I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Sharks. Yeah. Sharks and Wreck beats Master Baiters 12-9.
Did you skip Wing Attack?
I did. Wing Attack defeated Cordoba's Ravens 16-5. I did. Thanks for that catch. And then y'all, I'm gonna skip over everyone else. And y'all defeated D-Nair defeated D-Nair. D-Nair defeated Fight Club 13-8.
That D-Nair violence.
We already had the inner scrimmage. And then Switchmasters defeats Barktown, which is definitely an eyebrow-raising moment. For me, at least.
Yeah, well, and I mean, that's kind of an old school rematch, right?
No. Well, actually, wait. No, I don't think so. Because Switchmasters were in bronze when we were in copper. If I remember correctly.
Okay, well, still a bit surprising.
Yeah. And so you guys had a battle across the pond this time, right?
Yeah. So we had nowhere near the issues that you had, but it was still one of those. Oh yes, let's try to get out ahead of things, and then I think we had one sort of brief miscommunication where one of their players kind of chimed in like, "Hey, you ready for our match?" And it's like, I thought we were scheduled for 12 hours from now. So, dude, bit of grace for everybody. we're trying our best.
Doing our best.
But luckily it was a oh shoot, you're right situation, and it didn't matter. But it was just like that can totally happen, and thankfully it wasn't like they had scheduled outside of the clock hours for getting matches done or anything like that. It was just oh shoot. Well, I'll see you later.
Yeah, that's rough, but I mean, looking at the schedules when you were posted yours, I saw some really wild stuff like Saturday at 7 a.m. I was like,
granted, again, that isn't a time I would battle because I know myself better than that, but that is not unheard of for some of my teammates. So it doesn't make me raise an eyebrow apart from the fact that I'm not gonna be there. It's just like anything you need from me needs to happen the day before.
Yeah. So actually, one of my teammates asked me, he goes, "Hey Taco, where do we go report the scores?" And I said, "Oh, you're supposed to report them here." But because I'm in pretty much every single battle, like for the Dark Knight, I just do it right then and there and have it pulled up. And they go, "Oh, sweet, thanks." And I go, "Thank you for, making this job as easy as possible."
Yeah, well, and thankfully, it's one of those things that as a captain, like, you can micromanage if you want, or if you have players that just want to throw their scores in, that also works.
Yeah.
It's nice that it's not, there's only one way to do this, right? Like,
yeah.
You can figure out what works best for your team, and that can be the thing. It doesn't have to be overly complicated.
Yeah, and I'm very open with, like, I like to try to stay as transparent as I can with the team. Like, "Hey guys, so this is what I'm thinking. What do y'all think? Bench, you really don't have to say right now, but I know you all want to play. So, any starters?" And some of the starters will go, I'll let them play this week," and then they're like, "Cool." So I'll just swap them in, and that's that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, usually they just tell me, "Taco, I want 2-1." I was like, "I saw it. Congrats." Or, I mean, the newer players, I give them a little bit of leeway because they legitimately don't know. So they kind of follow everyone else. So like, "Taco, I won 3-0 or I lost 1-2," and they'll kind of do the same thing. But I think I should start weaning them towards putting their scores in.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not a huge deal for me. It's just I'll put it in when I put it in, or if I'm watching the stream, then I'm going to enter it right then and there.
So, our tower, I can already tell, has the potential to get weird because the number 4 team, 2 Sidek 2 Soup, is there because they're at 2 wins and a tie. The other team that is 3-0 that we haven't talked about yet is Tinker Trotters. They have kind of quietly also just won through so far, so they'll be right there for next week. And they are matched up against 2 Sidek 2 Soup.
Yeah. Tinker Trotters has a Brazil, an American, a Norway, and a Swedish flag. I wonder if that represents like the nationalities of the players on the team, which I think is really cool if that is the case.
Where they're just like representing globally. That is fun.
Yeah. They don't have any APAC flags on there, so they're not too global. Just saying. Kidding.
Yeah, but still different sides of the pond.
Yeah, it's still pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Communicating must be a little bit of an issue, but actually no. Because when we had RGR on the team, he wasn't too bad. I would send him a message, and he would respond in like an hour.
Yeah, and it very much depends on the person, right? Like, it's the internet age, so some of these things go easier than others. Like, some people are just like eternally plugged in, and others you might have to wrestle with them a little bit.
Yeah, for me, I try to be I told the team when I started the new job, I'm like, I'm going to be really slow to respond between the hours of 8 a.m. 6 p.m. Central Time. So if you need something, tag me. I'll look at it at my lunch. I'll address it, and then you won't hear from me you won't hear from me until 6. Like,
shade away.
It's gotta hide. So that is Tower D. Week number 4, you did mention Tinker Charles and 2 Psyduck. SoCal Swallow gets Doggy Academy. That's shaping up to a very good matchup. Wing Attack gets Nexus Fusion Flares Elites, and then, oh look, you're in the top 8 with Sharks and Wreck versus D-Nair Don't Care.
A team that we're very excited to play against.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of y'all for your timeout in the Battle Tower. Taking 8 points off Chicago Stars, and then just winning a close one against Hoosiers, and then winning a close one against the Fight Club. Like, y'all are chugging along, and I give you all all the praise. Proud of you, Jet and Donut, for doing the things, and then I'm proud of the rest of the team for basically, y'all scrim more than us.
Looking at the rest of the 2-1 teams, there's so many teams in this group where it's just, I can't help but feel, and I mean, some it's mostly literal, right? Where we're playing up against almost everyone, so it's all going to be a good fight no matter what.
Right. Alrighty, so that is the 4th and final tower. Yay!
Other shout out though is our friends at Who's Your Daddies are fighting our last opponent, Fight Club. So it feels like we're just kind of in this triangle. We're trading off.
You're gonna trade left to go right. Oh, that's great.
And then the other matchup that I can't help but watch closely, especially after last week, is Switchmasters versus Chicago Stars, for both reasons, right? Chicago Stars and their score, and then also for Switchmasters with their upset. That for both reasons, I think is making for a very interesting round 4 for them.
Yeah, the winner of this one is definitely going to be closer in the race for whoever gets the top spot, but at the same time, it's weird that a matchup like this, I would probably want to be in the top 3 matchups, or I would think would be, but just their paths to getting to that point have been very different. So all in all, I'm excited for this week, and I hope you are too.
It has managed to be surprising, but that is the story of Battle Frontier and factions in general, I feel.
Yes. Alrighty, so with the towers covered, it is now time for us to go to a very quick commercial break. But we will be right back after these messages.
We just need some water.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break, because I know I did.
I did at least half of the things I needed to do.
That's half the things more than what I did. Alright, so a couple of little housekeeping stuff before we get to the second half of the show. This podcast is powered by you, the wonderful listener, and our amazing patrons over on Patreon. You can it's hard to speak. The Patreon link is going to be listed down in the show notes down below or in the description if you are watching this on YouTube. You can support this show for as little as $1. Supporting the show gets you access to episodes at least 24 hours in advance, unless Taco does the big mess up and accidentally posts it 12 hours in advance, which has happened. Yeah, so you can support for as little as $1. You get access to the super secret part of the Discord. Oh yes, there's also a super secret part of the Discord that gives you.
Oh yes.
Yes, I forget. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have right now for that one. And then at the $5 tier, you can jump into the recording booth chat and fact check us in real time, or send us memes, which was pretty awesome. But for some reason, I saw the $1. I saw Thanks Obama do it. I'm not gonna mess with permissions right now. So today we learned.
Yeah, until it starts to get crowded, I feel like we're fine.
Yeah. So currently, we're gonna take this time to thank our Dragon Egg patrons. They are Thanks Obama, ZT Smith, Sotiri, D5E250, and Staffordshire 12. At the $5 tier, or Baby Dragon, we do have Reviving Ophelia. We want to give a special thanks to these lovely patrons, and I hope to one day sit down and have a nice time with y'all. Whether it's at a regional, it's at an in-person Niantic event, just hanging out, having fun. We also, like I mentioned before, have a YouTube channel where you can, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff to make the algorithm go up. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts because apparently Google Podcast doesn't exist anymore. Sad day.
I can do a mini jet version salsa bar that isn't even really a salsa bar, but you mentioned the YouTube and I did the thing again where I was scrolling through just looking for some music to line up, and I had the jump scare of seeing myself pop up in my subscriptions page. I'm still there's also been enough of a gap where I'm not used to it again. Hey, it's my face.
To be fair, I mean, we were away for a while, so we can't really blame that too much on. Blame it on me.
It was one of those moments where if it's ever happened to you, you just yep. It's kind of strange when you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
When you think you're safe, and then all of a sudden, turns out I'm on the internet.
There's one thing that I learned. I was watching one of the streamers. His name is Thor, or Pirate Software. He's shown up in my shorts a couple of times, and he said that if there's, because of it's an AI thing where because we've put our voices out on the internet, somebody can steal our identity or something. This is the cybersecurity tip of the week.
Well, and especially since we have whatever it is, several hundred hours of us speaking.
Yeah.
There's a large sample specifically of our voices.
Yeah, so I actually got in contact with somebody at my bank, and I have it so if somebody does try to open an account in my name or whatever at that specific bank, I have them call me to verify, because I'm a streamer or a podcaster, and so my voice is out there and people can just fake it on the phone. It's ridiculous. Which is it's weird. I remember AI was just like something we saw in movies like 10 years ago, and now it's in our phones.
Well, it would something about that makes it. I would so much prefer that version compared to the one that's way more likely, which is that people just use all of the info that they stole from Ticketmaster.
Yeah. I don't remember ever buying tickets from Ticketmaster. But, I mean, it happens, so.
Or, you know, basically any online service that you give information to, I'm pretty sure at some point or another I've been contacted by them to say, hey, so it turns out between these dates we
had a breach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we may have had a breach, not we had one, because that opens us up to liability and damage. It's I don't like it. Like me personally, I hate being in this world where like something like that is more of a nuisance now than like back then, where like it was really easy if someone called you and you're like, I don't know you. Click. This is before caller ID, obviously. But, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad.
Is this 6? No, this is 4.
No, this is Patrick.
Yeah.
I know that joke, you took it one way, I took it the other.
Well, you brought it full circle to last week when we talked about you sending memes to your boss.
Yeah. He liked them. Where was I? Oh, yes. I forgot. Discord and Twitter. So we do have a Twitter, or an X, and a Discord. Both of which can be down in the show notes / description down below. So, you know, give the show a follow on socials, and, you know, join our Discord. Read the rules, tap the emoji, and get the accepted role, and you get the rest of the Discord opened up to you.
It's very similar to what you have to do in Battle Frontier, which, you know, nudge nudge, you should definitely have done by now if you're a competitor.
Should have gotten the Battle Frontier rule. It's like it's one of the first things you look at. But I can't tag them in the battle coordination channels, just in the region channels. My trainer in Arceus, your teammate doesn't have roles. Just take a snapshot of it and send it to him and go, here, circle it, underline it, go here, 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 here. I'm not salty.
I'm just trying to look out for the little guys that apparently still don't have their roles.
They need to have they need to get their ducks in a row. Alrighty. So
it's a dumb way to lose, and it's a dumb way to get kicked out of the competition. So just don't.
100%. So this next part would usually be the community engagement. What are your first impressions on PvP next season? I don't have one this week, so we're gonna read off the comments this time.
Don't we always?
Yeah. So we had 2 responses from the Discord. We had Philo saying, it's going to take an adjustment. Matchups have been pretty consistent for years and are going to be flipped upside down. I couldn't agree more. I'm here for the chaos.
Yeah, the long established matchups are going to be the ones that hurt my brain the most. Like, and just especially relearning what you can get away with. Like it's one thing knowing quote unquote who wins or like who's supposed to win. It's another to just have like that mastery that is indicative of having played the thousands of matches that we have.
Yeah.
Where it's very second nature to kind of see a couple of the top Pokemon and know exactly what you're gonna leave with energy and health wise as kind of a min-max scenario, and just and then you might not even see those Pokemon anymore. So yeah, it'll be weird. I think Lickitung is gonna be the weirdest. At least the timing for body slam isn't gonna change too much, right?
It feels weird, but yeah, I agree.
Wait, are they? God, remind me. Are they changing energy for body slam, or is it just damage?
Yeah.
Is it both?
I'm going to look that up because
There's
JRE put an article about it.
There's so many of these things like this where it's like they have done. Okay, no, it's just the power. So timing will be exactly the same. So at very least, there are some of them like that where it's just power change, so the timing won't shift unless they also had a fast move that changed. But yeah. This is something I should have also pulled up when I was talking about Furret earlier with Dig, because I was like, wait, did they change the timing on it too, or was it just the damage? It's, again, also just the damage.
Oh, I did this wrong. Fudge. Don't worry about me. Ignore me. So I still need my Lickitung to be my buddy because I don't have enough hearts. It's fine. Okay. But yeah, so what you were saying, body slam just gets a damage nerf, and then we have, but it does 5 less damage than Weather Ball now for the same cost.
Which also feels weird, right? Like, why is it worse than Weather Ball?
So I'm reading the article off of JRE on Pokemon Go Hub for anyone that wants to fact check me or whatever. It's now become Night Slash, Breaking Swipe, Cross Poison without the chance to debuff or buff.
So well, I guess it having it in that context, knowing that it is at least in line with other moves of the same cost is okay. Like, I mean, I guess that just highlights how good it was compared to everything else.
But what Body Slam was kind of in a league of its own.
Yeah. Really. Well, and especially because compared to a lot of those other bait moves, it was being used for stab, I think, more often than they were. So it had kind of an extra layer of damage baked in compared to the others.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think Body Slam really helped Vigoroth and Lickitung from the, not so much the damage, but from the stab bonus.
Yeah, it's both, but
of course you had Gastrodon with Body Slam. Oh wait, right. I forgot about Munchlax. They also had Body Slam.
That I think is probably the real story for Body Slam going forward is that I think you'll notice the damage change the most on the non-stab Body Slam. Like
Dragonairs, Wireless, and Titan.
Right. Well, and there's I mean, you talked about Gastrodon already, but just like those, I suspect, are where it's really gonna feel underwhelming. But you bring up a good point with Dragonair, where I wish there was a better coverage option than just okay. Well, I guess that means you have more flexibility to run Dragon Balls, maybe.
I'm not regretting building 2 more Dragonairs to fit Body Slam's Dragon Balls.
Aquatail.
Did I stutter? But yes, Aquatail, Dragon Balls.
Or, I mean, if you really get fancy and you go for the Purified, like back in Timeless.
I had one.
with return.
Yeah, and then I TM'd the move away.
Well, that was also a strategy, right? So, because
Yeah.
it looks like who would have a purified one unless they were running return?
Yeah, I hate it. There's
What's
a lot
our-
of things like that.
I was just gonna ask what our next comment was.
Oh, the next comment was from Gmeister, who says, "It's a fresh new meta coming in, and I can't wait to see how things shape up. Just like Philo said, it will be an adjustment, but I'm hoping the change stays for at least 2 years with new meta Pokemon being slowly introduced."
So,
2 years.
I'm suspecting this has more to do with the 50-second Twitch timer,
I hope that's permanent.
where, and I think with some hands-on, it will become evident fairly quickly whether or not it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, it'll take some time to get used to. I'm curious if it's gonna sit at 50. I get the feeling they want to reduce it. It's just gonna be one of those. I will be very watching very closely how they decide how much to change it. Where they're like, whose opinion they value in this conversation is gonna determine it, right? Like, because you know there are gonna be people that will just be unhelpful and criticize just because like they lose games. And it'll be like as usual with just like with any online community. But yeah, how to sort through the constructive criticism, especially given
I would probably say my whole
some
thing.
of the stuff.
Yeah. I think my whole thing is who Niantic listens to is if somebody, like, I'll use our podcast as an example. If somebody comes to me and says, "Taco, the podcast sucks, I hate it," the only thing I'm going to say to them is, "Cool, thanks for your feedback. So you're not going to do anything? You didn't offer me anything to, like, fix or what I can do better." Now, if another person came and is like, "Taco, I don't like your podcast because, I don't like the video form." Let's just take an example. I was like, "Okay, what don't you like about the video form?" Or if they say, like, "I didn't like the video form. I think, like, you can use some more animations or get more wavy or shave your head again." I don't know. Like, if you offer constructive criticism,
Take a bath.
Oh, if you can smell me through the speaker, oh, I'm sorry. What was I saying? Yes, but if you offer constructive criticism like that, Niantic should listen to that. Don't listen to the whiners that just go, "I hate these changes because my grass hole team doesn't work anymore, blah, blah, blah." Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they said they gave you a 2-week notice that it's getting nerfed. Put some skill behind it. Tap harder. Do something.
Yeah.
Run charm. Run triple
harder.
charm. Run triple charm. I don't. It's just that's my only thing. Is like, if you want to change something, change it, but make sure that whoever you're listening to, they give constructive feedback to make things better. If you want to complain and moan and do all that, go play League of Legends, because I hear those people are miserable.
Yeah, the MOBAs.
Actually, no, I was gonna make an old school RuneScape joke, but I still actively play old school RuneScape, so I'd be telling on myself. It's okay. But yeah, so community engagement, we don't have one this week because Taco is big burnout, big smooth brain right now. So
I think and I still think there's a lot of insight that can be made just around the changes, and especially as we get closer I think new ideas will come out. The one that I'm a little I'm a little leery of now is actually Carbink, because I didn't realize it gets Power Gem, which is getting a like complete rework, so it might as well just be the Rock Slide replacement, so it'll come out of this change like unscathed, or maybe stronger. We'll see.
It does get Power Gem.
And then relevant for a couple metas for Battle Frontiers, Ampharos with Power Gem as well. I was just pulling up a list specifically of the Power Gem crew. And I was like, well, most of them don't matter, but there's a couple that really do.
I don't think Power Gem's gonna be too difficult. Because, like, I mean, I guess maybe you win fire types. Win against fire types more with that. Or you can, you know, the Altaria matchup's a little cleaner. Maybe, but.
Who are you talking about?
Ampharos getting Power Gem.
Well, I mean, it has it. You just wouldn't run it.
Oh,
so it's
all right.
It's one of those. It'll depend how much better it is, right? Like, because it is getting both a buff to power and a reduction in energy cost, so like a double buff. But it doesn't look like anyone new is getting it, which also feels weird. So clearly they have someone in mind for this.
Yeah.
Where
we'll see what happens.
That feels like the obvious kind of handoff one, apart from Sableye, which is already high up there. You talked about Shadow Sableye, I think, as one of our first touches on the topic, but
yeah.
Yeah. It'll keep Carbink just right up there, which is slightly disappointing.
Ursula learns Power Gem, but it also has Rock Blast, so we're gonna go with that one. Rock Blast and Bumblebee. Let's go.
Oh. I mean, all power to you if you're running Corsola. Honestly, like, I hope it works for you.
Me too.
That's one of those like niche edition things that is okay. Sure, yeah, great. I hope you're happy.
You know, it gets Bubble, Rock Blast, Bumblebee, and Power Gem. Oh, and Tackle. So. You need the 10, 15, 15 for the rank 1. Forget that. I'm doing the 15, 15, 15. Alright, so this week we don't have a communicated question, but if you still want to give your thoughts on the PvP update next season, you are more than welcome to. Camera's right there, Taco. Stop leaning to the left. You're free to answer it on our Discord, free to answer it on our Twitter, or tweet at the show at DragonTamers. If you tweet at TacoDog8, I'm probably gonna ignore you and send you a meme, because that's me. But I'll do my best to read it aloud if I remember, and then of course you can leave a comment on our YouTube channel. So, with that, let us move on into our Play Pokemon segment. And I'm gonna amend that a little bit because I did a thing, Jet.
What did you do?
So, the VG community is very upset at Play Pokemon for reverting back to the changes of taking like the top 75 or whatever. Okay. So in response, Devon Corp, not Pogo Devon, VG Devon and Devon Corp and Limitless have started their own grassroots circuit for VG. And I have now joined a team for VG. We're the Lord Helix Secret Society VG team. Our mascot is Lord Helix. So,
nice.
So they do tournaments basically like once a month for the current regulation. And our first one is September the 1st. And I will be entering in it playing Regulation H. If I win, I get $100. Because that's what the prize pool is. If I lose, well, I mean, I'll get better.
So, I mean, you don't have to go do it crazy a lot, but this is all online. I'm taking that to mean. Okay, well, that's nice that you don't have to.
Yeah, the main reason they want it, it's going to be done all online because they know that a lot of trainers can't travel to like the major tournaments.
Sure.
So like they can't travel a lot, so they want to do it from the comfort of their home. I said, hey, that looks really neat. Let me try it. And then I was chatting with some of my buddies in one of the Discord, and a lot of people are like super interested in playing VG. So I said, hey, what if we just make our own team?
Get the
like
boys
we all
together again.
Yeah, pretty much like get the boys together, scrimmage a bit, come up with team comp ideas. And now we started a team of show 6, bring 4. Double battles, let's go.
So yeah, official format.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see what it brings. And I will give you an update. The tournament's on Sunday. So I'll probably give you an update on Labor Day.
Cool.
So, with that, now we'll move into our Play Pokemon segment. It jogged my memory. So, Pogo IC will have its September Cup Sunday, September 22nd at 1 p.m. Try to get there early because parking spots fill up. Parking is free on Sundays. But, they're going to want to play. They're going to want you to register. There's prizes that you can get, and a lot of championship points are on the line. And, unfortunately, because Play Pokemon was big mean when they did this, the top 2, if we get 4, only 2 people get points instead of top 3. It's very yucky. I don't like it.
Oh,
and then
I mean that is. I know I've talked about this before, but it feels weird having been a Sylph player, like not having an 8 minimum.
Yeah.
Like that already, like just like feels but like everything was worth points for that, so
yeah. And so with that, I'm just kind of like meh. And then how is the San Diego scene looking?
San Diego had their very first challenge this last weekend. I was glad that I got filled in on all of the details. And not only that, sorry?
Did you go compete?
I did not. It was girlfriend birthday weekend, so
oh, that's right, I forgot.
I took the high road on that one. The other good news though is that there's already there is a cup scheduled for next month as well. So they're gonna keep rolling. This past weekend though, they had 9 participants, so that's 4 rounds of Swiss into the top 4 single elimination, and it was a Swablu party with Florus in first, Dapper second, and Ron and Fred Bull third and fourth.
Woo! Congrats to them.
So yeah, but you've said it right. I am very much looking forward to competing in a local scene. I'm also keeping an eye on the Temecula group and might see if I can get some details on them. A cup is the same day and time as the September Cup in Iowa City, except 2 hours later because time.
Yeah.
September 22nd, 1 p.m. at Rare and Sleeveless. It's on the map. The only kind of like caveat though is that the sign up actually occurs on Dracoviz, so make sure you have your trainer name set up over there.
I don't think I think like tournament organizers are supposed to use the official Play Pokemon like tournament website, or unless they're just using DracoViz to track signups, which.
As far as I know, it's just for signups.
Oh, okay.
And to make sure that it's like a place where they can give you a place in line should they ever hit their cap, which I think is 40.
Okay. That'd be a pretty big cup, but I think largest cup, the largest cup that we had was 46 in North America. That was at LA Tour or Sinnoh Tour in LA. I got 20.
All of the really big events they tend to already have the players there, so yeah, why not hop in?
That's right. Well, there's going to be a lot of points on the board. Or 4 points, the more like people get signed up for it. More people get more points. More people get points, excuse me. 50 is still the maximum.
But yeah, excited to officially have a local group, because that's been kind of hanging over me since Self, is just the fact that is no longer just kind of part of the rotation, you know, which has felt super weird. Like on one hand, we have had a couple of like the big regionals, so that's also added to that feeling of, wait, why don't we have anything local? But yeah, getting organized, getting started.
Yeah, I mean, it was also the same with like San Antonio. There was only really one group or one card shop that had locals, or that had a local scene, and then I kind of helped nudge them to do like Pogo stuff, because I said, yeah, I play VG, but I also play Go, like, and yeah. But then I ended up going, like, at the end of it, when it was all said and done, there was a game pretty much like every week, which was pretty cool. All the organizers kind of got together and be like, we'll have this one this day, this one this day, this one this day, that day.
It'll be Christmas every weekend.
So I'm hoping that a dispute had came in, but it's just a test dispute. So I'm hoping that, you know...
Is this thing on?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm hoping that we kind of get more local game shops in the area. But, you know, Iowa's a small area, so it probably isn't going to be in the cards.
Huh.
Alright, so with that, let's move on into the salsa bar and where's the bacon. I'll mention the salsa bar here. Top of the show, I thought Battle Tower was 7 weeks. It was 5.
Which is reassuring, right? Because we knew that the Swiss was going to fall apart anyway. So now we don't have to worry about it.
Hooray!
Yeah.
And then,
speaking of things that are no longer hanging over our heads.
And then, so we gotta ask Jet, where's the bacon?
Actually got some Lechonk checks this week. So we are up to 1,989 Lechonk checked for shinies, because, you know, the shiny's been released at the whole duration. And no shiny. Not yet.
You get close to that 2,100.
Yeah, well, yeah, like inching towards, at very least, officially over the 2,000 mark.
Alrighty, so now it's time for achievements. We're gonna make this one quick because we don't have that many. So, Danny got a shiny Shadow the Leap. I hope it was the Shundo.
They're, with very few exceptions, they're always so bad.
I know.
It's like, I am very happy to have one usable Shadow Shiny, and then the Ammonite I got a couple weeks ago is like I'm very tempted to purify because it would be a Shundo. Where I'm like, you can be Shadow for now.
That's fair. And then finally, Dean Air teammate Jack of Hearts reached Legend. I think like 8 days left or like 6 days. I don't know how many days are left in the season. But
well, yeah, the turnover is the 3rd, so 8.
Right, so 8 days left in the season. Got Legend. Proud of it. And then speaking of GBL,
7.5.
And then speaking of GBL progress, I am still at 2,500. I have stopped for the season. I'm good.
But there's whatever it is, triple or quadruple dust for through the end.
I'm not done. We're doing this.
Is it? Well, and isn't there anything you want to play before it gets nerfed into uselessness?
Look, my man. I love useless Pokemon. I'm still going to use them.
Well, at least in the case of Flygon, it has viable alternatives. It's not just like, oh, hey, the one usable moveset is now also not really usable.
I mean, also with like Clodsire and I'm thinking out loud for a second, but like Clodsire and Carving, like you could still run Mudshot and do some damage and like throw Scorching Sands for days. Or if you want to get cheeky, throw like Earth Power or Earthquake. I'm still an Earthquake believer with Flygon.
It'll be even harder to get away with, unfortunately.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it's still there.
I've seen the believers on the poison jab side of that argument, as far as Nidoqueen specifically, where it's like, yeah, the Earthquake does some serious damage and it's unexpected.
So there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll probably be playing a little bit, but not too much. So, what about you?
I'm still in the 28s. Still having fun with the team I stole from Donut. And the other, I guess the quote-unquote like GBL achievement that I did this week was I finished the time research, which was my goal. So,
hello.
Yeah.
All right.
And did you complete yours, or you're on the last page?
No, I'm still on the 4th page. It's kind of sucky when I think about it, because like I was on pace to do it, and then the frame drop issues got so bad, it just kind of deleted my motivation to do it.
Well, yeah, and this season has a lot of that weirdness associated with it, unfortunately. But thankfully, I feel like a lot of that is a lot better than it was, because there was definitely a low point in the season, and thankfully that doesn't seem to be half as bad as it was then.
Yeah, and that, like I said, that's not really the issue for me. It was just kind of like I got down there. I was churning my battles out like basically every night when I had some time. I probably should have been sleeping, but it's fine. Just turning my battles out, getting those wins, and then the frame drops had started, and I go, well, I'm done.
Well, and you're bringing up a good point, right? The whole aspect of it being part of your routine, and then as soon as it's not, it's already effectively been replaced by something else, right? And if it's something that's bringing you joy, then it's one of those situations where
and that was I was gonna say that was actually me. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, if it's not necessarily going to be a positive experience, then it's hard to fit back into a full routine.
Yeah, I'm not playing it. I mean, by then I had already switched over from battling and Go to battling Scarlet and Violet. I was playing a lot of Regulation G, just having some fun and nuking Miraidons with Sandy Shocks. It was a great time.
I somehow missed a very long conversation in one of my group chats where I had said, because I got tagged, that my doggos might be coming back, like in reference to Zacian and Zamazenta. And I said that I was really hoping for the steals, and it devolved quickly. It's like, what are the steals? Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Round and
Is it the Steelers? That's a sports team, right?
oh Lord.
Anyway.
Alright. Well, that's
I do
where
hope
we're
that's something we get next season, is the doggos with their steel typing.
I hope we get the crown forms. I really do.
Yeah.
But this is where we're gonna have to call it an episode. On that Steelers note, that was great.
It's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
But before we're forced to stop with a dad joke or something.
Right. I promise I won't say any more dad jokes for the remainder of the episode. Alrighty. So, from all of us here at Itch and the Dragon, always remember, keep your dragon fangs sharp. Stay away from those fairy types, especially Wigglytuff now. You can beat those ice types. And until next time, we will see you all in our next episode. Bye.
Enjoy the last week of the format. Woo.